is not just core.
Hey everybody, it's me, Coach Rebecca, and today I'm talking to the athletes who are in a pickle. You are capable of your skills, and they are not happening right now. And I have met many athletes in this position where they are totally physically capable of doing a skill, but they're not doing it right now. So maybe they had a past injury. Maybe they kind of getting stressed and pressured about move-ups, and their skills have evaded them. So I'm going to give you some concrete tools on exactly what to do if this is you, and more importantly, what not to do if this is you. So parents will get a lot out of this, and athletes too. If you are struggling with a skill and you feel like you need to get it right now because routines are happening, coaches are really making you aware that if you don't have the skill in time, you're not moving up, this is for you. So yeah, it's incredible how the closer we get to season, I mean, right now we're only in July, but the closer we get to season, which for optional starts in maybe December, some of us January, some of us as early as November. Once we get to November, it's sort of too late. There's something you need that you feel like you must get in time, and maybe your coaches are telling you, you must get this skill, and it's very stressful. So here's what to do. So the first thing, I'm going to give you 5 tips for athletes and 1 tip for parents at the end. The first thing, athletes, is stop trying to get your skill. I know that sounds crazy, but stop trying to do the skill perfectly. Stop trying to hit the handstand. Stop trying to get your series on the high beam. Stop trying to do your giant flyaway. Here's what you're going to do instead. Every turn that you take, you want to try to get a little bit closer to your handstand, a little bit closer to your giant flyaway. So whatever you're actually doing, a little bit closer to connecting your series on the high beam. What happens is that people, I was watching girls at camp who would get up on, and for example, the kip cast handstand. They would do their kip, they would do their cast, and they would hit, above 45, but not all the way to vertical. And they would get off the bar and be like, ugh, their body language was so rough. Their face they looked so mad. And I was like, whoa, why are we so mad right now? You just did a cast, to like above 45. And they're like, I'm trying to hit handstand. I'm like, well, I know, but why don't I take a video? So I would take a video and they would hit their cast, wherever it landed. And then I said, okay, let's try to see if you can get a little closer to handstand. And so then she would get up closer to handstand, and I'd go, oh my gosh, was that a success? And she'd go, no, I'm still not hitting handstand. So we have to totally rethink the way that you're approaching these skills. If you think that it's a fail every single time, so somebody's saying, I started crying because I couldn't get it. Yes, but you're getting closer. So if you get closer, you get to give yourself a pat on the back and go, that was closer. Good job. And if you start giving yourself some praise for making progress, you're going to make more progress. And if you are always crying every time that you don't hit it perfectly, it's going to be a long road. So that was my big encouragement. I was working with a bunch of girls on bars this weekend and was like, can we just be excited that you got closer? Because all of those little closer moments are going to add up to you getting the skill. But all of the crying and beating yourself up is going to add up to you being really mad at yourself, even though you made a bunch of progress, which makes you feel like you can't do it, which gets you negative. Yeah, I get it. Most of the time when athletes struggle with mental blocks, they're highly talented. You're good at your sport. You're good at that skill. And you used to do it perfect, and then something happened. Maybe you got taller or you took a week off or whatever. Like a million things can happen that make skills get a little rocky temporarily. So we want to just try on every turn to get a little closer. Okay, number 2, I already have been talking about this one. I couldn't wait. Stop being mad at yourself every time you have a bad turn. And there's no such thing as a bad turn. I'm going to tell you that right now. If you can eliminate the language of that was so bad. I saw so many girls, like every single turn that was so bad. That was so bad. How often do you say that to yourself? And I look at it and I'm like, what do you mean it was so bad? It looked like it was something. So stop being mad at yourself. There's no such thing as a bad turn. Here's what I want you to do instead. Look at every turn as an experiment. So you are just getting up. I'm going to keep using that cast handstand as an example. You are going to do a cast handstand and you're making a hypothesis. Sorry, you guys, if we're out of school, but I'm using science words, but this is you have this educated guess. I'm going to make it to handstand. And then you try the experiment. Kip, cast, doesn't make it to handstand. You go, okay, my hypothesis was incorrect. And then you collect data and you go, why did it not hit handstand? So a coach can give you some data, some feedback and say, you need to lean over more, you need to hold your feet up longer, whatever. They can give you that. If a coach is not available, a teammate could probably give you some suggestions, but you know yourself enough to know, I probably need to lean over and I'm not leaning because I'm scared. Okay, so you're collecting data. You're not judging. This is not a good or bad moment. This is, what do I need to do differently on my next experiment to get closer to the outcome I'm looking for? So you'll go, well, I think I need to lean over more. So we're not judging, right? This is totally neutral. And then you try again, another experiment. And your hypothesis is, I'm going to get closer to handstand. And you try it. And you go, I got closer. Good job. Instead of, that was so bad, I didn't get it. So we are just learning from every attempt and then deciding one thing to change on the next one that will make it a little bit better. And then you're doing another experiment. Imagine if every turn you took, you weren't judging yourself. You were just collecting information, making a decision on what one thing to adjust, whether it's, your glide, your lean, your push, whatever, your legs, whatever you have found that needs to be improved, and then you improve that. Then you can be like, I improved that thing I tried to improve, and I got a little closer to the big goal. Some people, it doesn't feel like fear. It feels like I just can't go. I'm not scared, but I just can't go. And that's the same thing I'm talking about here, where you're physically capable, but your brain is putting on the red light for some reason and stopping you. So you have to work with it. So my third tip here of what not to do and what to do, stop trying to force yourself to just do it. This seems like so many people's strategy is, I'm just going to work harder. I'm just going to do it. Well, hi, if that worked, we wouldn't be here, right? I would have nobody to talk to if just work harder worked well enough, right? I would not have a job. It doesn't work. So instead, you want to start asking your brain what it needs. So your body can do the skill. We've already established that. Your body can do it. Your brain is giving you a red light. So we have to stop requiring the brain to do what the body's capable of and instead let the brain lead the way. So if you get up to do your back handspring, you swing your arms and you freeze. That tells us your brain is saying, I'm not ready for this yet. It's not telling you you're bad or you're so dumb or, all those like negative things I used to say to myself on the beam. It's just saying, I'm not ready for this right now. I don't have enough confidence. So you go, okay, hey brain, what do you think you could do? And you start asking, well, what can I do? What do you need? If this progression isn't working, don't just push harder and keep trying over and over and failing. That's just going to grind that block into your brain deeper and deeper and deeper, make you mad and sad, make your coach frustrated, make your mom mad. Nobody's excited here. So you've got to find the progression that's going to work for your brain in that moment. And it means drills, it means progressions, it means communicating with your coach, it means getting creative. And I know a lot of people will say, well, my coach won't let me. I'm like, well, have you even asked? Have you even asked? Have you asked 5 times? Have you asked with a please? Have you asked with a little jazz hands worked in? I'm sure if you're totally stuck, your brain's not letting you, you're up there, you're not being productive, it's not efficient. Can you just ask? Can we try? That's my challenge to you. Okay. Number 4, stop comparing yourself to your best day ever or comparing yourself to other athletes. I was the exact same way. I started at 8. I moved kind of as quick as I could through the levels, but by 14, I was a level 6 and I was struggling with fear. So I looked at those little girls, who are way better than me, and I thought, therefore, I wasn't good. But I wasn't looking at how far I had come. So getting back to number 4, stop comparing yourself to your best day ever or to anybody else that's outside of your control, because all that does is make you feel bad. Instead, compare yourself from right now moving forward. And that goes every single day, because the person that you are today, how tall you are, how much you ate today, how much you slept today, how you talk to yourself today, the stress you're under today, what your coach is demanding of you today, it's all totally new and you have never done that skill, you've never done any skill as the you are today. So every single day is a totally clean slate with a totally different set of expectations. But what people do is they go, well, I did it yesterday. Yeah, but yesterday you got 9 hours of sleep and a good lunch. Today you were stressed and up late and, your coach looked at you funny and your nervous system's going wacky. So the person you are today can't be required to do everything you did yesterday. So that just is a recipe for low confidence. If you want to build confidence, you go in and you start with whatever the first one is. Fine. Maybe you can only do it on low beam. Maybe your cast is only to horizontal. Whatever you have today, that's your point A. And then you are going to work toward whatever you can do that day. So you're going to get a little better, get a little better, get a little better. And then you're going to give yourself some credit for getting a little better, even if the where you finished today is not even where you were yesterday. It doesn't matter. But if you show up with that mindset of every day, I'm going to start where I can and get a little better, and I'm going to give myself credit for it, you're going to start enjoying yourself more and you're going to start building confidence. Anyone who has been working to get over a mental block for more than 3 years is dedicated, they're consistent, they're hard workers, they don't give up. So if you were my kid, I would be so proud. And you should be proud of yourself, because for me, I had my mental block for maybe a year or two and I quit. You are not quitting. You're showing up. You're learning about your mind. You are doing amazing things. So can we compare you to someone who's never had to work hard and think about how incredible you are in comparison? So I'm just putting that out there. Yeah, if your best friend is amazing, great. That's cool. What can you do right now and how can we get it a little better? Number 5, stop trying to do it by yourself. I was the girl on the beam who was like, I'm fine. I didn't want to talk about it with my mom. I didn't want to ask for help from my coach. I didn't want anyone to cheer for me. I didn't want anyone to even watch me. I was like, leave me alone. I'm in my own personal misery all by myself, trying to force myself to do this over and over again. Leave me alone. So start asking for help. I already mentioned this, but ask your coaches. Tell your parents that you're struggling. And then we have free consultation calls. So anybody who's struggling, who's been in, muck of this by yourself for so long, you can schedule a free consultation. You have to bring a grown-up with you. But performhappy.com/consult. We do free 20-minute conversations with a parent, an athlete, and one of my mental coaches. It might be me, and we will help you talk it out and come up with a way to build that confidence back up, because it's not rocket science. It's really simple, actually. It's just a few easy steps. I already talked about most of it today. So if you need help, ask for it. That's my challenge to you. Ask your coach, ask your parent, or schedule a consultation. Stop trying to do it all by yourself. Okay, and then I told you I was going to give you a tip for parents. So parents, stop adding pressure. Instead of trying to fix it and solve it and, be all in it and ask all the questions and make this mental block take up the whole car ride, start just listening, empathizing. And I go over this in my parent trainings. Every kid that we work with, we require our parents to do some training because it makes a big difference. Don't give advice. They don't want your advice. They just want to know that they have your shoulder to lean on, that you can be the soft place to land, and so they can know you're not giving up on them, so that you can be praising that kid who's been sticking with it for 3 years. That is so incredible. So, all right. I am on live every Tuesday at 5 o'clock Pacific time on Instagram and Facebook. I hope you will join me and bring your questions. Thanks for being here today. And feel free to DM me any questions that you have that you want me to go over in a future live. All right. I'll see you around soon. Bye, guys.